Hi everyone. Today I'm going to go over the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services alien registration requirements. So who must register? How do you register? What are the risks associated with registering? I'm going to answer all of these questions in this video. Simply put, the Alien Registration Act requires that foreign nationals age 14 and older who did not register and get fingerprinted when applying for a U.S. visa to do so if they remain in the U.S. for more than 30 days. Parents and legal guardians for foreign nationals under 14 must ensure that these children are also going to be registered. This law was initially created to track foreign nationals during World War II and to enhance national security. However, and recently, the Trump administration has made a few and very big changes to this program, such as requiring that the registration be done solely online and imposing hefty penalties and jail time for non-compliance. The simple truth is that the new registration process is intended to provide the government with the information that they will need to detain and deport individuals. Not only this, the Trump administration has already touted that they will criminally prosecute individuals that fail to register after April 11, 2025. So let's start with who must register. According to the government, any immigrant that is currently in the country and that has not already registered but is required to do so must register. So who is considered already registered and will not need to register again? These individuals include U.S. citizens that were not born in the U.S. but naturalized, conditional green card holders, permanent green card holders, anyone that came into the country with inspection. Usually this means by boat or by airplane. It doesn't matter if your I-94 arrival departure record has already expired. Anyone that entered the country without a visa, but you were granted parole to enter the U.S. This usually pertains to people that obtain humanitarian parole, such as military parole in place. Also, anyone that was previously placed in removal or deportation proceedings, unless you were subject to expedited removal at the airport. Anyone that has ever applied for an employment authorization document or an EAD card, even if that EAD or work card is now expired. Anyone that previously applied for a green card and completed biometrics, or had their biometrics appointment waived. And finally, anyone with a border crossing card. These are documents that allow individuals, usually from Canada or Mexico, to enter the U.S. without having first obtaining a visa. Now that we know who must register and who does need to register, let's discuss how to register. USCIS has created a new form, G-325R, Biometric Information Registration Form. First, you want to visit the USCIS website at www.uscis.gov. Second, click Sign In at the top right-hand corner and create an account. Third, on the welcome page, click on Go to My USCIS. Fourth, click on File Form. Fifth, select G-325R form and complete it. After you register, you should expect the following. Now, your name and information will be entered into an immigration database. If the government does not have your biometrics, such as your fingerprints or photos, they will schedule you for a biometrics appointment at a local ASC support center near you. If you move, you must update your address online within 10 days. And once you register, you must carry proof at all times that you have successfully registered. Next, let's talk about the concerns related to registration. If you have filed or about to file a Violence Against Women Act case, a T or trafficking visa case, or a U visa case, you may encounter special issues. On one hand, you have privacy protections related to your information, since it would be very dangerous and detrimental if your information was released. However, on the other hand, the new form lacks the standard form instructions to help you complete the forms accurately. As a result, you are being asked to make a high-risk decision with little information. We recommend that if you are at a confidential shelter or enrolled at an address confidentiality program, you should consider using a P.O. box or your immigration attorney's address instead. Then at the end of the form where it indicates additional information, I recommend that you write this in this box. As a survivor of violence, I am residing at a safe and confidential address. For my physical address, I have provided a P.O. box or my attorney's address where I can reliably receive mail from USCIS. I fully intend to comply with the requirements to keep my address information updated and will do so once I am residing at an address that is safe to share. To end this video, I want you to know that the decision to register or not is yours to make. If you decide to register, let me give you a very big tip. The form contains mandatory and non-mandatory questions. Think about the consequences of answering the non-mandatory or non-required questions before trying to answer them. I understand that this new law will place unregistered immigrants in what may feel like an impossible situation. The two options involve risk and a lot of unknowns. So let's just answer these questions right now. So what will happen if you don't register? There are fines similar to registering with false information. You may be fined or imprisoned. You may also face future criminal prosecution. And lastly, you may be unable to apply for future immigration benefits. So what will happen if you decide to register? If you complete the forms incorrectly, by providing a false name or address or other information, DHS will charge you with misrepresentation, fraud, or concealment. You may also be fined or imprisoned. If you do not register your children, you may also be charged with another offense. Once you register, you may face criminal charges if you don't carry proof of registration at all times or fail to update your address within 10 days of changing your address. DHS may also use the information you provide to visit your home or workplace to arrest you. DHS may arrest you also when you attend your biometrics appointment and take you into ICE custody. Depending on your situation, you may be held at an ICE detention facility indefinitely, depending on whether or not you qualify for immediate immigration relief or if you have a criminal history. If you have family members living with you, if they don't register, or even if they do register and you don't register, it's going to impact everyone residing at that address that's not already registered. If you want to register and you have an immigration attorney, speak to your immigration attorney. If you don't have an immigration attorney, I recommend hiring one. And lastly, if you are a client at our office with an existing case, you should expect an email with a link to explain how you should complete the form if you decide to register. If you found this video helpful, let me know in the comments. Also consider sharing this video if you or your loved ones are in this position. This way they can make the right decision for themselves. Again, I'm attorney David Nguyen, and thanks for watching.